The Council expected humanity to argue, to negotiate, to fight. Instead, humans simply stood up and walked away. No threats, no warnings, and as their footsteps faded, every member of the Galactic Council felt the same cold realization: when humanity leaves, it's never out of weakness. It's a sign that something far greater is coming. The empty chairs, the grand assembly hall floated in the darkness of space. A massive crystalline structure that had witnessed 10,000 years of galactic governance. Today, something was different. Council Speaker Vivinarak noticed it immediately as he entered the chamber. The human section sat completely empty. 20 seats that should have held Earth's representatives remained vacant. Their data terminals were dark, their translation devices silent. Vivinarak's 4 eyes narrowed with irritation. Humans were always punctual, sometimes annoyingly so. They arrived early with prepared statements and detailed proposals. This absence felt wrong. He activated his communication device and attempted to contact the human delegation's quarters. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. A cold feeling settled in his chest. Other council members filed into the chamber. Representatives from 47 different species. The Chrithians with their scaled bodies took their seats. The Pelixians, beings of pure energy contained in crystalline forms, hovered above their designated spaces. The Vorith, massive and imposing, settled into their reinforced chairs. Everyone found their place, except the humans. Ambassador Kalanara from the Pelixian Confederacy floated over to Vinarak. Her light pulsed with concern. Where are the humans? I was supposed to meet with Ambassador Williams this morning to discuss the trade agreement. He never arrived. I thought perhaps he was preparing for the assembly. Vinarak's concern deepened. I cannot reach any of them. Their communication channels are silent. He broadcast a general message to the assembly. Has anyone had contact with human representatives in the last 12 hours? The chamber filled with murmurs. No one had. The realization spread like ice through water. Something was seriously wrong. The council immediately dispatched emergency teams to Earth's embassy station. The reports came back within the hour, and they made no sense. The embassy was empty, but perfectly maintained. Every system ran on automatic protocols. The lights were on. The environmental controls worked flawlessly. But there were no people. No humans anywhere. Personal belongings were gone. Data cores had been wiped clean. It was as if everyone had simply vanished. Vinarak ordered investigations across all human territories. The results were identical everywhere. Every human colony, every station, every outpost sat empty. Not destroyed or damaged, just abandoned. The infrastructure remained intact and operational. Farms still grew crops under automated systems. Factories continued production runs. Power plants hummed with energy. But every single human had disappeared. 3 months earlier, Commander Sarah Chen had been exploring the edges of known space. Her ship, the Pathfinder, specialized in deep space reconnaissance. The Federation restricted human expansion to specific sectors, claiming humans needed more time to mature, venturing too far. Sarah had always found these restrictions insulting. Humans had faster than light travel. They had colonized dozens of worlds. They had contributed more scientific breakthroughs in 2 centuries than some species had in millennia. Yet the Federation still treated them like children. Her sensors detected an anomaly in an unexplored system. Standard protocol required her to report it immediately and wait for Federation science teams. Instead, Sarah decided to investigate personally. What she found changed everything. A structure floated in the void between dead stars. It was enormous, easily 50 kilometers across. The design was unlike anything in Federation records. Smooth metallic surfaces covered in mathematical equations that seemed to shift and change as she observed them. Sarah's science officer, Dr. Marcus Webb, scanned the structure for hours. His hands trembled with excitement as data flooded his screens. Commander, this is a gateway. A functional gateway built by a civilization that predates the Federation by millions of years. And it's still active. Sarah moved closer in her ship. A gateway to where? Marcus worked frantically at his console. According to these readings, it connects to a region of space completely outside Federation territory. Thousands of star systems, completely unexplored and unclaimed. Sarah felt her heart race. She thought about Earth, about all the human colonies squeezed into the small territory the Federation allowed them. She thought about the endless regulations, the condescending attitudes, the way Federation members dismissed human ideas and innovations. She thought about the 40% tax on all human economic activity, money that supposedly went to Federation services humans rarely received. Can you activate it? She asked quietly. Marcus looked at her with understanding in his eyes. Yes, but Commander, if we do this, if we tell Earth about this, everything will change. Sarah nodded slowly. Send an encrypted message to Earth Defense Command. Highest priority. Tell them we found a way out. Back on Earth, President Elena Vesquez received Sarah's message in a secure bunker deep beneath the Capitol. She read it 3 times, then summoned her closest advisors. Within hours, a secret decision was made. Humanity would leave. They would take everything they could carry and start fresh somewhere the Federation could not reach them. The planning happened in absolute secrecy. Every human colony received coded instructions. Every ship captain got quiet orders. Every station commander prepared supply manifests. They called it Operation New Dawn. The execution would require perfect coordination across billions of people scattered through dozens of star systems. But humans were good at working together when it mattered. They set a date. In 3 months, every human would simultaneously evacuate Federation space. They would leave the infrastructure behind as a gesture of goodwill, keeping only what they could transport. Ships were retrofitted for long journeys. Supplies were stockpiled. Children were told they were going on an adventure. And not a single word leaked to the Federation. The night before the Exodus, Elena Vasquez recorded a final message. She stood in the empty presidential office, knowing she would never see this room again. We came to the stars seeking partnership, she said to the camera. We found a hierarchy where we would always be lesser members. We offered our innovations freely. They were taken without gratitude. We asked for equal treatment. We received condescension and restrictions, so we are leaving. We take nothing that belongs to others. We leave behind everything we built in Federation space. Use it well. Perhaps someday you will understand what you have lost. Do not attempt to follow us. You will not find us. Goodbye. Now, in the Grand Assembly Hall, Vivenarak watched that message play on the main screen. Elena Vasquez's calm voice filled the chamber. The other council members sat in shocked silence. When the message ended, the room erupted in chaos. Some species laughed nervously, claiming humans would return when they faced difficulties. Others expressed anger at the audacity of an entire species leaving without permission. A few sat quietly, understanding beginning to dawn in their eyes. Ambassador Kalinara's light pulsed with a deep blue that indicated sorrow. They're gone, she said softly. Truly gone. And I do not think they are coming back. Vivenarak accessed the Federation economic database. What he saw made his blood run cold. Humans were integrated into every aspect of Federation life. Their medical technology kept billions alive. Their agricultural techniques fed dozens of worlds. Their engineering maintained critical infrastructure across the entire Federation. Their ships transported goods along the major trade routes. Their scientists had solved problems other species had struggled with for centuries. We did not just lose a member species, Vivenarak said quietly. We lost the foundation beneath our feet. And we never even noticed we were standing on it. The council chamber fell silent as the true scope of the disaster became clear. Humanity had departed, and the Federation was about to discover just how much they had taken for granted. Crumbling foundation, the first systems began failing within 2 weeks of humanity's departure. The Vorath military discovered it when their flagship, the Devastator, suffered a catastrophic power failure during a routine patrol. Engineers rushed to the fusion core, expecting to find damage or sabotage. Instead, they found a perfectly functioning reactor that nobody knew how to repair. The core used human-designed cascade fusion technology. Every Vorith ship in the fleet used the same system. The chief engineer filed an emergency report. We can keep the reactors running with current fuel, but we cannot perform maintenance. We do not understand the cascade principles. When components fail, we cannot replace them. We estimate 6 months before fleet operational capacity drops below 50%. Similar reports flooded in from across Federation space. The Crithian medical centers discovered that their diagnostic equipment relied on human quantum scanning technology. Without human technicians, the machines still worked, but nobody could calibrate them or fix malfunctions. Hospitals that served billions faced equipment failures they could not prevent. The agricultural world of Greenholm sent desperate messages to the Federation Council. The planet fed 14 other worlds using human terraforming technology. Atmospheric processors maintained a delicate balance of gases that allowed crops to grow. Those processors were failing. The Greenholm administrators tried everything, but the technology was beyond their understanding. They had 3 months of food reserves, maybe 4. After that, millions would starve. Council Speaker Vevinarek stood before the emergency assembly and presented the findings. His voice carried the weight of terrible realization. We conducted a comprehensive analysis of Federation infrastructure. Humans contributed technology to 92% of our critical systems. Medical, agricultural, military, transportation, communication, power generation. We are dependent on human innovation in ways we never acknowledged. We took their contributions and never learned how they worked. Ambassador Kelinara's light flickered with distress. Can we not reverse engineer what they left behind? We have the physical systems? Surely our scientists can learn from them. The Federation's chief scientist, an elderly Pelixian named Zordon, projected his response for all to see. We have tried. Human technology is efficient in ways we do not comprehend. They think differently than we do. Their solutions are elegant and complex simultaneously. It will take us decades to understand what they built. We do not have decades. Some systems will fail in months. The economic reports were even worse. Trade routes collapsed without human transport ships. The humans had operated the largest merchant fleet in Federation space, connecting distant worlds and moving goods efficiently. Other species tried to fill the gap, but they lacked the ships, the expertise, and the coordination humans had developed. Prices for basic goods tripled within a month. Shortages appeared on worlds that had never known scarcity. The Federation economy, which had grown for thousands of years, suddenly contracted. Unemployment rose. Businesses closed. Entire industries discovered they could not function without human components. Human logistics or human innovation, meanwhile, across the ancient gateway in uncharted space. Humanity had arrived at their destination. The first ships emerged into a region filled with beautiful star systems. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, watching her sensors map the surrounding space. Hundreds of habitable worlds appeared on the display. Worlds with breathable atmospheres, liquid water, and stable climates. Worlds waiting for someone to find them. President Elena Vasquez traveled on the colony ship New Horizon. She watched through the viewport as they approached the first planet selected for settlement. It was similar to Earth, with blue oceans and green-brown continents. No intelligent life existed here, just ecosystems of plants and animals waiting to be discovered. The planet would support human life without significant terraforming. What should we name it? Asked her chief of staff. Elena smiled, feeling hope for the first time in years. Liberation. We name it Liberation because that is what this represents. The colony ships landed across Liberation's surface. Prefabricated structures rose within days. Humans worked with purpose and joy, building something that belonged to them alone. No Federation regulations restricted where they could build. No committees required approval for every decision. No taxes took half their production. They were free to create the society they wanted. Dr. Marcus Webb lead exploration teams to nearby star systems. They found more habitable worlds, resource-rich asteroids, and something unexpected. Evidence of other intelligent species in the region. Not a unified government like the Federation, but scattered groups of different peoples. 3 distinct species that Marcus's team called the Scattered Ones. The first contact happened on Liberation's 3rd week. Ships appeared in orbit, and Commander Sarah Chen prepared for the worst. Humanity had brought weapons. They would defend their new home if necessary. But the ships broadcast peaceful greetings in mathematical patterns that suggested intelligence and curiosity rather than hostility. The species called themselves the Wanderers. They were nomadic people who traveled between stars and generation ships, never settling permanently. They had long, graceful bodies and multiple arms suited for zero-gravity environments. Their leader, who translated their name as Keeper of Stories, came aboard the New Horizon to meet Elena. "We have watched your arrival," Keeper of Stories said through a translation device. "You came through the ancient gateway. We have always known it existed, but never understood how to activate it. Why have you come here?" Elena decided on honesty. "We left a place where we were not valued. We came here to build something better. We mean no harm to you or your people. We would like to be friends if you are willing." Keeper of Stories studied her with large, intelligent eyes. The last species that came from beyond was the Federation. They demanded we submit to their authority. When we refused, they left and forbade us from entering their space. "You're different? We are nothing like the Federation," Elena said firmly. "We believe in cooperation between equals, not hierarchy and control. We will share what we have freely. We ask only for the same in return." Over the following weeks, trust slowly built between humans and Wanderers. The Wanderers shared their knowledge of local space, showing humans which systems held resources and which held dangers. Humans shared their technology, offering medical advances and agricultural techniques. It was trade between equals, both sides benefiting, neither side dominant. The second species humanity encountered were the Singers. They communicated through complex musical patterns and lived on ocean worlds. Their cities floated on vast biological structures they grew from engineered coral. The Singers had been isolated for generations, believing they were alone in their region of space dot when human explorers found them. The Singers expected conquest or exploitation. Instead, humans offered friendship and cultural exchange. Human engineers helped the Singers expand their floating cities. Singers taught humans about ocean ecosystem management. Another partnership formed, built on mutual respect. The third species were the Builders, insectoid people who created incredible structures but had limited space travel capability. Humans helped them develop better spacecraft. Builders shared their architectural knowledge, teaching humans construction techniques that worked with nature instead of against it. Within 3 months, humanity had established 12 colonies across different star systems. Each colony was connected by ships using the ancient gateway network. The gateways formed a web across the region, allowing rapid travel between distant systems. Humanity also formed genuine alliances with all 3 scattered species. Not treaties enforced by law, but friendships based on shared values. Back in Federation space, Ambassador Kellinara volunteered to lead an expedition to find humanity. She had always treated humans with respect, and she hoped they would listen to her. The Federation scientists had finally located the gateway after months of searching. They sent Kellinara with a small fleet and a message offering humans full partnership, equal representation, and complete autonomy if they returned. The journey through the gateway was disorienting. Reality seemed to fold around the ships. Then they emerged into human territory, and Kellinara's light pulsed with astonishment. Dozens of human ships immediately surrounded them. These were not the vessels humans had used in Federation space. These ships were sleek, advanced, and clearly powerful. Their weapon systems were active, but not aimed. A clear message of capability and restraint. Unidentified vessels. State your purpose, came a voice over the communication channel. "This is Ambassador Kellinara of the Pelixian Confederacy. I come seeking humanity's leadership. I carry a message from the Federation Council. There was a long pause. Finally, the response came. You will be escorted to Liberation. Any hostile action will be met with immediate defense. Follow our ships. As they flew toward Liberation, Kellanara observed everything her sensors could detect. Human colonies on multiple worlds. Massive orbital stations. Ships from 3 different alien species moving freely through human space. In 3 months, humanity had built more than the Federation had built in centuries of expansion. Kellanara was taken to meet President Elena Vasquez in a simple but elegant government building. Elena greeted her warmly, but with clear boundaries. Welcome, Ambassador. You are the first from the Federation to find us. I assume you come asking us to return? Kellanara's light pulsed with honesty. Yes, the Federation is collapsing without you. We offer full partnership, equal votes on all decisions, complete freedom in your own territories. Please come back and help us. Elena looked at her with sadness and understanding. Ambassador, you were always kind to us. I appreciate that. But we are not coming back. We have built something here that the Federation never allowed us to build. We have found friends who treat us as equals. We have freedom to innovate and grow. Why would we give that up? Kellanara saw the truth in Elena's eyes. Humanity was not coming back. They had found something better, and nothing the Federation offered could compete with genuine freedom and respect. Ambassador Kellanara spent 5 days on Liberation, and each day showed her something that made her understand why humanity would never return. She walked through the capital city where humans, wanderers, singers, and builders moved freely together. Children of different species played in parks designed to accommodate multiple forms of life. Markets offered goods from a dozen different worlds. Traded fairly without complex regulations or tariffs. On the second day, Elena took her to visit a joint research facility where human and builder scientists worked side by side. They were developing new construction materials that combined human chemistry with builder biological engineering. The scientists shared ideas freely, laughing and debating with genuine enthusiasm. There were no committees approving their work, no regulations limiting their experiments, no hierarchy determining whose ideas mattered more. Dr. Marcus Webb explained their approach. In the Federation, every research proposal required approval from 3 different committees. The process took months, sometimes years. Here, if we have an idea, we test it. If it works, we share it. If it fails, we learn from it and try something else. We have made more breakthroughs in 3 months than we made in 3 years under Federation rules. Kellanara watched a young human scientist working with a builder. There are different forms of intelligence complementing each other perfectly. The Federation believed oversight ensured quality and safety, she said quietly. Marcus nodded. Oversight has value, but excessive control stifles creativity. We have safety protocols here, but they exist to protect people, not to limit possibility. There is a difference. On the 3rd day, Kellanara visited the ocean world where the singers lived. Human engineers had helped the singers expand their floating cities, while singers taught humans their understanding of marine ecosystems. The collaboration resulted in underwater farms that produced food for both species. The farms were beautiful, massive structures of living coral that filtered water while growing nutritious plants and fish. A singer named Harmony in Depths spoke with Kellanara through musical translation. When humans first came, we feared them. Every species we met before wanted to take from us. Humans asked what we needed and offered help without demanding anything in return. They treated us as equals from the first moment. Kellanara's light pulsed with understanding. The Federation has much to learn from this approach. The Federation had humans to teach them. Harmony in Depths sang. They chose not to learn. That was their mistake. On the 4th day, Elena invited Kellanara to attend a council meeting. Kellanara expected something similar to the Federation Grand Assembly, with formal procedures and hierarchical seating. Instead, she found a circular room where representatives sat in a ring with no elevated positions. Humans, wanderers, singers, and builders all had equal places. There was no single leader, no speaker controlling discussions. The meeting discussed a proposal to establish a new colony in a system rich with rare minerals. Everyone spoke who wanted to speak. They debated the environmental impact, the resource allocation, and the best approach to development. When disagreements arose, they talked through them until consensus emerged. No votes were taken. No authority figure made final decisions. They simply discussed until they all agreed on the best path forward. After the meeting, Kellinara spoke with Elena privately. How can this possibly work? Without central authority, how do you prevent chaos? Elena smiled. We prevent chaos by trusting each other and communicating honestly. Every colony has autonomy to govern itself. Every species maintains its own culture and customs. We cooperate because cooperation benefits everyone, not because rules force us to. When problems arise, we solve them together through discussion and mutual respect. Kellinara processed this. The Federation had always believed strong central authority was necessary for civilization to function. Humanity had proven otherwise. But what happens when someone refuses to cooperate? When selfish interests conflict with the common good? It happens, Elena admitted. Last month, a human colony wanted to mine an asteroid field that the Wanderers considered sacred. We could have argued about rights and regulations. Instead, we talked. The colonists learned why the asteroids mattered to the Wanderers. The Wanderers learned why the minerals were important to the colonists. Together, they found a compromise. We mine different asteroids and leave the sacred ones untouched. Everyone benefits. On the fifth day, Commander Sarah Chen took Kellinara on a tour of the orbital defense network. The stations were impressive, with weapons technology more advanced than anything in Federation space. Kellinara-S sensors detected shield systems, energy weapons, and missile platforms that could defend against a massive attack. You have built a military force, Kellinara observed. Sarah nodded. We hope never to use it, but we will not be conquered. If the Federation sends warships to force us back, we will defend ourselves. We do not want war, but we are prepared for it. Kellinara believed her. She had seen enough to know that humanity's technology had advanced far beyond Federation capabilities. I will tell the Council that military force would be a mistake. You would win and many would die on both sides. Thank you, Sarah said sincerely. We left to avoid conflict, not to create it. We want peace, but only peace that comes with freedom and respect. That evening, Kellinara prepared final report for the Federation Council. She sat in her quarters on Liberation, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors that reminded her of home. She thought about everything she had witnessed, the thriving colonies, the genuine cooperation between species, the innovation happening at incredible speed, the happiness she saw in every person she met. She began recording. Council members, I have spent 5 days observing humanity's new civilization. What I found surpasses anything the Federation has achieved. They have established functional colonies, formed genuine alliances, and advanced their technology beyond our own. All of this in 3 months. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. They're not coming back. No offer we make will convince them. They have found something here that we never gave them. Freedom, respect, and the ability to shape their own destiny. They are thriving in ways they never could under our governance. Kellinara's light pulsed with conviction. I recommend we leave them alone. Any attempt to force their return would result in war we would lose. Instead, we should learn from what they have accomplished. We should reform our own systems, reduce our regulations, treat our member species with genuine equality. Perhaps someday, when we have changed, humanity might choose to establish peaceful relations with us. But that day will only come if we prove ourselves worthy of their friendship. She ended the recording and transmitted it through the gateway. Then she made a personal decision. She requested a meeting with Elena the next morning. Elena received her in the same simple office where they first met. Ambassador, your ship is prepared to return through the gateway. Is there something else you need? Kelinara's light shifted to a warm golden color that indicated hope and possibility. President Vasquez, I have a request. I would like to stay here as an ambassador, not from the Federation, but as an individual. I want to learn from what you are building. I want to be part of something that values cooperation over control. Elena studied her carefully. You would give up your position in the Federation? Your status and authority? I would give up a position in a failing system to be part of something better, Kalinara said firmly. I have spent my life serving the Federation, believing in its principles. Being here has shown me that we lost our way long ago. You have rediscovered what we forgot. I want to help preserve that. Elena stood and extended her hand in the human gesture of agreement. Then welcome, Kalinara. Not as an ambassador, but as a friend. Back in Federation space, the Council watched Kalinara's report in shocked silence. Some members were angry, demanding military action. Others were afraid, realizing the full extent of their dependence on humanity. A few understood the deeper message in Kalinara's words. Council Speaker Vivenarak made a decision that would define his legacy. We will not pursue humanity. We will not attempt to force their return. Instead, we will focus on our own survival and reform. We must learn to maintain the systems they built. We must develop our own innovations. We must treat our member species with the respect we denied humanity. The vote was close, but the decision held. The Federation would leave humanity alone and attempt to rebuild itself. It was a painful choice, an admission of failure. But it was the only path forward. Over the following years, both civilizations followed their separate courses. The Federation struggled through difficult reforms. They reduced regulations and gave member species more autonomy. They invested heavily in scientific research, trying to replicate and understand human technology. Progress came slowly, and many resisted change. But gradually, the Federation began to stabilize. Some species left the Federation, following humanity's example. Others stayed and worked for reform from within. The galaxy was changing, and the old certainties no longer held dot in their new home. Humanity continued to flourish. They established over 50 colonies within 2 years. Their alliance with the scattered ones deepened into genuine friendship. Together, they explored their region of space, discovering ancient ruins and technologies left by civilizations millions of years old. They learned from the past while building for the future. 5 years after the Exodus, President Elena Vasquez stood in the same spot where the first humans had landed on Liberation. The small settlement had grown into a thriving city. Ships from 4 different species filled the orbital space above. Children played in parks that had not existed when she first arrived. Commander Sarah Chen joined her, looking out at the city they had built together. Any regrets? Sarah asked. Elena shook her head. None. We made the right choice. We left seeking freedom, and we found it. We left seeking respect, and we built a society based on it. We left seeking home, and we created something better than we imagined. Sarah smiled. The Federation sent another message last week. They are still hoping we might establish trade relations. Perhaps someday, Elena said thoughtfully. When they have truly changed, when they understand that cooperation must be genuine and equal, then we can talk. But not before. We will not compromise what we have built. Far across space and the Federation Grand Assembly, Venerak watched reports from the reformed colonies. The changes were working slowly. Member species were happier with more autonomy. Innovation was increasing with fewer regulations. The Federation would survive, though it would never be what it once was. He thought about humanity often, about the species his people had taken for granted. They had taught the Federation a lesson more valuable than any technology. Freedom and respect could not be granted from above. They had to be genuine, built into the foundation of society itself. Control might create order, but only trust created true civilization. The galaxy had changed forever. 2 paths now existed, 2 different visions of how species could live together. The Federation's path of hierarchy and central control, now reformed but still recognizable. and humanity's path of equality and voluntary cooperation, thriving in distant space. Neither path was perfect. Both faced challenges and uncertainties, but both offered hope in different ways. And perhaps in time they would learn from each other and find a better way forward together. For now, humanity had found what they sought. They had departed from a place that did not value them and built a home where everyone was valued. They had left behind the council that could only stare in astonishment and created a community that welcomed all who came in friendship. The silent exodus had ended. The new beginning continued.